Tell you that this is something that has been going on for years, folks. In fact, I remember when I was a supervisor, probably back in, I'm going to say 2003. It came out that this was something that everybody had to do at the company because they were changing the model back then. And we had an employee. He was an employee. He was kind of a contract, but he was an employee. And this was the gray area. And he used to be an owner-operator, so he knew how to do this. But he got kind of caught in this because we were using him on a part-time basis. And as much as he may have been part-time for a couple other people, for us, he was deemed an employee. So we had to let him go from our standpoint because they didn't want to bring on an employee. They had been operating as a contract. He was, I believe, working for other people, so he was probably a contract and probably okay in his mind. But we ran into problems on our end as far as within our team. So that was the first time that I really kind of came across this. And then it's been kind of a gray area that's been talked about, as I was writing my book, Running by the Mile. It came up a few times, and I've seen it a lot in the owner-operator part of the market, to be honest with you. What's come of late change for me is that it's been in the some of the big carriers are doing this as well, which I didn't realize. So where you'll find it now, so the way this works, and I'll do it from an owner-operator standpoint because it's a little easier to understand. But let's say you're an owner-operator and you want to hire a driver. So you're one of these owner-operators, you have 2 or 3 trucks. You need to hire a couple drivers. The way that it normally is done is they would be employees for you. So when you hire them, they would be entitled to all the payroll deductions. They would be entitled to all the benefits that you would offer as an employee. You would take on all of the expenses and the issues of managing employees. And that's the way this normally works. Well, what's happened with a lot of drivers, what they've done is they will hire the person on as a contract. So they will tell the person, you know what, become incorporated. That's why it's called Driver Inc. And I'm really leery about using that word because we're incorporated as a business and we are not this model. We're not what they're talking about here. So I'm always leery to use Inc., Driver Inc., because Driver Inc. is telling people that just because you're incorporated, you're doing it wrong, and that's not true. But people were offering themselves as a driver service. So what the person hiring would say, you know what, why don't you become incorporated, become your own business, I'll be your customer, and this way you can deduct, your expenses on the road, and you can deduct your expenses to and from work, and those kind of things. And that's where it kind of started. And the person who's hiring them would get away without having to pay the taxes for payroll because they're just paying the person as if they were another business. So that's basically how the problem started. That's where it basically started from. And then it grew. Okay, so again, it was just maybe the odd owner-operator doing this kind of thing to stop saving some taxes. The drivers thought they were getting some big payroll deal here. They were making more money, which was an illusion again. And so what CRA caught wind of this, and that's what brought the study out in 2003 that I was a part of. Now we're back in 2018, and this issue's grown because no one's basically done anything for the last 12 years or so. And it's now a big problem, and the CRA has now found out how much of a big program, because it's not just been the odd owner-operator now, it is some of the large companies in the transportation industry that are doing them, and I'm not going to name any. But so now CRA, the Canada Revenue Agency, is now looking into the books or auditing a lot of the drivers, a lot of the owner-operators, drivers, anybody who's kind of following this model. And if you've been doing any kind of taxes, whether you've been paying or not, you will show up. So it will depend on how you